go to their musical director and say, how about some Tesla? and the response is, yeah, we'll rock that. I love it. I love it. So that was a special request. Thank you. Beautifully done. So I married a woman who has really great taste in music, excellent taste in music. The first gift she ever gave me was a mixtape. It was a CD, but we'll call it a mixtape. And clearly it worked. So she has really great taste in music. Almost all the time. But my dear wife loves hair bands. She loves them. You know, it's the exception that proves the rule, right? I don't. You may want to change your mind about me now. Too bad. So, as we were driving down to Houston earlier this year to visit and look at possible homes and think about where we want to live and sort of begin to make real the imaginings we had of life here, Sid's inclination turned nostalgic. And sometimes, often, I choose the path of generosity and just sort of go with the flow when she turns on the 80s hair bands. But I just wasn't feeling it on this particular road trip. I had a lot on my mind, you know. No Def Leppard, no Poison, no Van Halen. If it makes you feel any better, we did listen to Van Halen on the way here this morning. But Sid was driving, and the car rules are, if you're driving, you get to pick the music. So, wicked guitar riffs and wailing vocals it was. I decided to get out a notebook and put a lot of those ideas and stuff that were swirling around in my head on paper. I figured that I had enough in my head going on that it would keep me distracted. And then that song you heard just came on. For some reason, I finally heard the lyrics. So you think that it's over, that your love has finally reached the end. Anytime you call, night or day, I'll be right there for you if you need a friend. It's gonna take a little time. Time is sure to mend your broken heart. Don't you even worry, pretty darling. I know you'll find love again. Love is all around you. Love is knocking outside your door. Waiting for you. Is this love made just for two? Keep an open heart, and you'll find love again, I know. It was a song about trying again, about second chances, about the boundless love we can find waiting around every corner. And here we were, about to move back to the city where we fell in love, where my ministry began to take form, and where we started our life together. And I thought, dang it, universe, did it again. Making me like it. The universe is tricky like that. Good sense of humor, that universe. We're often asked as Unitarian Universalists what we believe. And we have a lot of different answers. But here is one of mine. I believe in possibility, which is very pragmatic. I believe with bedrock certainty that stuff will happen. I do. I know, I'm pragmatic, right? And furthermore, I believe that we are most often defined by what we do when the inevitable stuff happens to us. We don't get out of this life unscathed. As we make our way through, life leaves its marks. And the marks we bear can make our lives deeper and more meaningful, or they can sour our view, perhaps even making us bitter, cold. The difference, very often, is how we respond. And because there is very little that is new under the sun, and because so often life contrives to work in a circular, or at least meandering pattern, we often find ourselves with an opportunity to revisit, reconnect, review, or reject things upon which we have already formed an opinion. The same goes for people and for relationships. I have this little sign. I have props today, ukuleles and signs. I have this little sign, and you can't read it, but here's what it says. It says, "O God of second chances and new beginnings, here I am again." Now in the past, this has always hung in my bathroom because I was guaranteed to spend at least a little bit of time every day staring into space. At the very least, I would see it every morning when I brushed my teeth. But now it hangs here in my office, right by the light switch. Sometimes I get the feeling that my life is constituted of nothing but second chances, even at my tender age. I have not arrived at this moment unscathed or without disappointment and loss, but that is not why I'm here today. That is not why I'm here today, in that I don't intend to give you a message of bitterness and loss, but a testimony to both life's bruises and tender miracles, which often come wrapped in the same complex packaging. The universe has a very wicked sense of humor. And also, it's not why I'm here today in the sense that it is not bitterness or loss that has made me the person I am, but the chances that I took and what I learned from all of it. Oh God of second chances and new beginnings, here I am again. Allow me to share with you one of those second chances. We're still getting to know each other, so I'll tell you a little personal story. I grew up in a really close-knit Catholic family. My mom, my dad, my younger brother, myself. And we were extraordinarily close and collaborative and loving and all of that stuff that you would imagine you would want for a family in terms of how we treated each other. And then I came out. When I was 18, I came out as a lesbian to my parents, which was the beginning of a period of really painful estrangement from them. I remember when they were dropping me off at my college, they sat me down, and some of you have heard this story, they sat me down and told me in no uncertain terms that if I was ever to live with a woman as I would with a man, you know, in great biblical terminology, that I would go to hell. I told them I didn't believe them. So perhaps I was already winding my way into this faith, I don't know. However, over the years, well, one, my taste in women improved considerably. And I think that helped. I think that helped. But they also did their part, right? They went to a Christian therapist who was open and affirming, and we spent a lot of time, we spent a lot of years having a lot of anger towards each other and frustration and disappointment. But when Sid and I got married 4 years ago, almost, my dad walked me down the aisle, and they both consider her a daughter. They consider her part of our family. And without each of these things happening the way they did, as painful as it was, we would not be the family that we are, and our connections would not feel so precious. We fought hard for them. We all took second chances. My parents did, I did, Sid included. We were all willing to work together in the hope of rebuilding the acceptance and love that we had shared as a child. Now, it's true that not everything can be revisited, and not everything should be. There are things that cannot be undone, circumstances that cannot be overcome. There are relationships too broken to return to in health, habits of being that may have once served but no longer do. But we have the choice. Even in cases where a successful return is not possible, we still possess a capacity to revisit, to reframe, and to learn about both ourselves and our world. And not everyone's attempts at reconciliation have the same ending. Sid also spent years, and I shared this part with her before, so don't worry. Sid also spent years of her adult life trying to reconnect with her family, only to experience a continued rejection. To say that it was painful would be an understatement. Some of you may know that feeling. But when she recognized that what she wanted was not possible, avenues of growth opened. She began to learn what she valued, what she was and was not willing to accept from those she wished to love. Through this process, Sid was able to define for herself what family could mean, all of which was her precursor to building the life based on trust and mutual acceptance and support that we now share. As long as we are able to learn, we are able to hope. And it is through learning and discerning that we come to know what is and isn't possible for us, what is and isn't healthy for us, to make choices about how we want to be in the world. We learn, but we also hope. And this is one of the ways that we couple reason and faith together in our own hearts. Once upon a time, I was a newspaper editor, and I longed for something. I was a Unitarian Universalist lay leader, and I knew that that was close to that something deeper and more meaningful that I could sense, just peeking around the corners. It was in my peripheral vision. I looked in a lot of places, a lot of wrong places. And finally, I heard a voice coming from within myself that said, "You're doing it wrong. Go to seminary." Whew, I was ticked off. My mom would call this a God thing. But as strange and unfamiliar as that clear voice was, and it was definitely strange, I recognized it as my own, and I heeded it. This second chance has brought me so many things. A calling and purpose that I've sought for much of my life, a chance to be a family, and it brought me to you, twice. Because I couldn't really talk to you about second chances without taking a moment to recognize that we are right smack dab in the middle of a big, fat, luscious second chance right here. Speaking only for myself, it couldn't be going any better. You are wonderful. You could use some work. I am also wonderful, but I could also use some work. Let's try saying it together, just for laughs. I am wonderful.
I am wonderful.
I could use some work.
I could use some work.
All right, and we are here to do that work together. This is, of course, not Northwood's second or third or fourth or fifth chance to better know itself. We get those chances all the time, infinite chances. That is what we have, and what each of us has. Now, it doesn't mean that you give infinite chances. Not everything or everyone warrants revisiting. And knowing what to prune from our lives is one of the great seats of wisdom. I only mean that you get infinite chances. That choice as an act is infinitely before you, available, possible. I told you, I believe in possibilities. I also believe you can only see what you look for. On that car ride several months ago with an imminent return to a place I knew and loved spread out before me, I decided to give an 80s hairband a second chance. A small thing, perhaps, but a moment of clarity and inspiration. You never know when the universe will strike. So as I was preparing for this Sunday, I felt like there was something missing from my message. I hadn't quite pinned it down. I like to think of my sermons as living things. Anyway, works in my head. And then I looked at my calendar. Does anybody know what we are right in the middle of? Yes, we are right in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Jewish New Year and the Jewish Day of Atonement, one of the most sacred periods in this tradition. On Rosh Hashanah, in the Jewish tradition, they acknowledge that human beings are responsible for their own actions. And as they move towards Yom Kippur, begin to contemplate sin and the nature of humanity and repentance, forgiveness, and atonement for the things that they wish they had done differently. This is literally the shortest explanation possible. I am not an expert on Jewish scholarship. But I think there's something very true about this time that resonates with the human experience. Rabbi Reuven Hammer tells a little story about this time of year from the sages of his tradition, who say that each person should carry 2 notes in their pocket. On one would be the words, "For my sake the world was created." On the other, "I am but dust and ashes." When we despair of our value, we look at the first, and when we are too haughty, we look at the second. I am amazing. I could use some work. Which of these felt more comfortable to you to say out loud? They are both true, universally, even those of you that I don't know. But which truth is harder for you to claim? The days bracketed by Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are about choice. They declare that we are not toys of fate, not destined for sin and evil, and that we always have the possibility of choosing the path of life. The ability to try again is inherent in these holy days, and this is a lesson we can take away as well. Because through all of this, talking about second chances, I realize perhaps what I'm really talking about is infinite possibility. The infinite possibility that lies before each of us. And this possibility is not a gift that has to be bestowed. It is inherent. We are not given possibilities. We are possibilities. And those possibilities may not point out the easy path. They may not point out the nice path. But they do point out the good path. And as I suspect we all know, nice is different than good. So what is one change, one choice that you could make today, this week, this year, that would have a profound impact on your life? What plans would you need to put in place to make that happen? And what would it look like to live into that change, that choice? I am amazing. I could use some work. Imagine what life could be like if we lived into both of those truths at once. I invite you into a brief moment of contemplation to consider these questions or whatever questions are on your heart. Please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn, the benediction, and our chalice extinguishing words. Our closing hymn is Hello, Goodbye, correct?
Yes.
All right. The words to that are in your order